I'm Sarah Broadwell, Community Events and Member Engagement Manager at the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the GOFCC 2021 annual meeting. We are so grateful to have all of you here today. As we all continue to operate in these unparalleled times, it is critical to stay up to date on the state of events, to keep our heads afloat, and to push business and our economy forward. With that in mind, our theme for today is adapt, innovate, and endure. After almost a year of challenges, we are thrilled to celebrate business and our community members who embody all of these attributes, having altered their course, fulfilling new needs, thriving amongst all of this uncertainty. This afternoon, we will also look to how we can use these ideals to brighten our future and better serve GOFCC as a fully integrated partner of CenterState CEO. Through this important partnership, our chamber has become stronger, a better organization, providing our members with quality programming and expanded services. We also have a stronger voice in the region to generate greater attention to the issues that impact us all locally. It is now my pleasure to welcome CenterState CEO, President, and Chief Executive Officer, Robert Simpson.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Katie Toomey. Sarah, you've done a great job at organizing this year's annual meeting, so thanks for stepping up and doing such great work. And to all of you, thank you for joining us. Certainly, we would all like to be together in person, but this is a passable substitute until more folks can get vaccinated, and hopefully this time next year we can be back together again. You know, this last year has been so challenging in so many ways. But in spite of those challenges, I am immensely proud of the way that all of you, our Oswego County business community, have come together to support each other, how you have supported the community, how you have helped to encourage people to get out and to support our local restaurants, and how you have done your part to help keep our community safe. You've demonstrated leadership and compassion, and that is one of the reasons why I think the community of Oswego and Fulton are so special. So thank you for that. Now, our state and our local leaders, for any of us who think we have had a hard time this last year, our state and local leaders have faced unprecedented demands on their time, and their leadership has been tested in ways that I think many of us might find hard to imagine. We have been really grateful, eternally grateful for our partnership with the state of New York. And I am really proud to welcome a friend, a leader, and our state's Lieutenant Governor, Kathy Hochul. Governor, thank you for joining us today.
Rob, thanks for having me back once again. We've done a lot together, particularly in the early months of the pandemic. I know it was really important that we keep that line of communication between our administration and the business community, and your role as a CEO and president of CenterState CEOs was really important to help amplify that message, particularly during the shutdown period when there's just so much uncertainty. Also to my friends at the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber, thanks for hanging in there. I know it's been a brutal year, and to Sarah and to Katie and everyone else involved. And I know we've got some of our mayors on board here. Mayor Deanna Michaels from Fulton. Hello, Mayor. Also, Mayor Billy Barlow. I'll talk about him a little bit because we've had some fun adventures together. But yeah, this was a time when we had to really rise to the occasion. We have never seen anything like the experience we've gone through for literally 1 year now. And the business community, particularly those in smaller communities like Oswego, like Fulton, like the entire county, really just didn't know what plan B would be. How do you survive when you're literally shut down? And so I thank the chambers across this state for being the lifeline and helping them, a lot of small businesses that had never had an online presence, restaurants that never focused on takeout. I mean, you really helped them innovate and find a way to survive through this. And now as we're starting to reopen, we're realizing that those efforts were not in vain, that it really helped keep the vitality of these fabulous downtowns so alive, because what are we without the charm of the downtowns throughout the state? I know, and I've always had an appreciation, I think I may have told you before, with Chambers of Commerce. I was many years ago a graduate of law school. I came back to my small town, and my mother, who had never run a business, was involved in social services and the helping professions, didn't like the flowers that were done for my brother's wedding. So she says, I'm starting my own flower shop, and my daughter, the lawyer, is going to kick it off and get me stars. Like, okay, first call I make, because I didn't look like I didn't know anything to my mother. I went to the chamber. I went to my local chamber of commerce, and I found out about how I had to file my doing business as certificate with the county clerk's office, ironically, and how to make sure we had insurance for any employees that we hire and workman's comp. And so from that experience, I realized how indispensable our chambers are, particularly back then for me, but also throughout this very, very difficult time. So thank you. And thank you for just being part of a story that is the comeback story of New York State. I look at the numbers nonstop. I have been managing parts of this pandemic and intensely focused on the numbers in the communities, particularly upstate. What we're looking at is our infection rate. And I have to congratulate the people of Oswego County. Literally 2 months ago, almost to the day, we had a 14% infection rate. Today, I'm going to double check this because this is extra. I thought it might be a typo. It is 1.6%. So you made that happen. And that's because you kept wearing the mask. You kept following the rules, the social distancing. So this community, we're going to rebound because businesses followed the rules, the citizens followed the rules, and now we're in a far better place than many other parts of this country, particularly as we're getting the vaccines back. So that's the good news story. I know how hard it's been. I've actually visited some of your businesses during the pandemic. I don't know if I always tell you, but sometimes I pop in unexpectedly, and that's baseball hat and a pair of jeans and a ponytail. That's what I did this summer. My husband and I were traveling back to the North Country, and I said, you've never been to Oswego. You've never been to Oswego County. You don't know how charming this is. It's a great downtown. I mean, especially the city of Oswego on the Oswego River and Lake Ontario. I mean, who gets one of the Great Lakes and a major river is you're really the epicenter of your community. But when he saw what I've seen through my eyes and working with Mayor Billy Barlow with the Downtown Revitalization Initiative and all the ribbon cuttings and groundbreakings we've done there in person, my husband's jaw dropped. And so when he saw, we went to the press box, had outdoor lunch there. We went over to the River's Edge bookstore, where I love to pick up books and talk to the owner there, and stopped and I showed them the waterfront where we had gone and done the READY project, the resiliency project up on Lake Ontario, to make sure that we're ready for the next big one, but to really take that opportunity to just make the waterfront magnificent. And that was a great ceremony we all did together in August. And the Children's Museum, you have a world-class children's museum. So I went in there and they let me come in and play with things a little bit too. No kids were in there at the time, but I really just think you have such extraordinary assets. And the chamber understands that, but we also have to tell the rest of the world. And that's what I've enjoyed doing, is sharing your story. As I talk to the people in the state of New York about staycations, and if you discovered these communities that are amazing, you don't have to ever leave the state to understand that we have such incredible downtowns, and the businesses that comprise them are so unique and so special. So we're looking good on the infection rate. I think the businesses are going to hang on. We're doing well with them. The vaccination is such an amazing story. I mean, 1 year ago, we were told we would need a vaccine to be able to know that we could turn the corner on this. Who would have thought that in less than 1 year, we would have not one, not two, but 3 vaccines available to us? I was told it was going to take 18 months to 2 years. So that is such good news. We opened up a mass vaccination site with the new Johnson & Johnson vaccine, not too far from you at the State Fair. Everybody knows how to get there. I was there for the opening a few months ago. Plenty of parking. People are so professional. It's run like a phenomenal military operation. You will not be disappointed. So for those of you who have been frustrated trying to get vaccines, I know what that's all about. I've talked to probably hundreds of people about this, and we're trying to work very close, particularly with our seniors who aren't as adept at the booking vaccines online. And so we're trying to make sure they can have access to a phone number. I think any of that kind of information you can get out to your members would be really helpful, as people in the current categories know how to do this, how to get their appointment lined up, but also as we start opening up to people under the age of 65 and larger groups. Right now we have 10 million New Yorkers eligible for the vaccine. That's out of a possible pool of 15 million. We're subtracting out the young people under the age of 16. So right now we have 10 million people. And for the longest time, we were only getting 350, sometimes only 250,000 doses a week to be able to administer that. we've turned the corner on that. This is a whole new day, and we are very focused on making sure that that's available to all communities, underserved communities, rural communities, and also our urban areas where there might be some more hesitation in certain populations. So that's what we're focused on. I just wanted you to know that you're doing really well with the vaccine too. We have 16.5% of your county population has had at least one vaccine. Obviously, you're figuring out how to get the appointments, so congratulations on that. We're doing really, really well with that. I'm still concerned about unemployment. We saw the numbers skyrocket after hitting historic lows. I mean, when I would visit the year before and talk about our budget, I mean, it's almost seems impossible to think that we were at full employment a year ago, or just a little before a year ago, before all this hit. And I think your numbers were 4.8% last March when I spoke to you. We did hit about a 14.5% unemployment rate, but they're now starting to come down to about 6%. That's, to me, is another metric we keep an eye on to determine the health of the region. But we're going to continue some of the projects that have really injected new life into central New York, as well as Oswego County. One of them is Regional Economic Development Councils. You know, I've chaired them, $750 million. We allocate every single year. We know that the Downtown Revitalization Initiative and Oswego was one of our first winners, round 1, Fulton round 4. So the projects are all starting to be unveiled at different points. I also want to let you know that in addition to keeping those two really critically important programs going, because they have changed the nature of most of our state, because we've never had that kind of money before. We are also going to make sure that as we start reopening some of these businesses and continue our investments, that people feel safe going into them. Because until everybody's vaccinated, or at least 70 to 90% of the population's vaccinated, people are still going to hesitate. They're not going to want to go into a restaurant, even when it is open 100%, if they're not sure if someone around them could have been exposed and they could still bring that virus back to their family after all this year of sacrifice. So we're going to have what we call the Excelsior Passport app. So you who've had a vaccination or had a test, a recent test, will be able to feel comfortable going into more entertainment venues, into restaurants, and even to weddings, because you will know that not only you, but everybody around you has been tested and are safe. Beginning March 22nd, we're going to expand our gatherings, indoor gatherings, 10 people indoor, 25 people outdoor, social gatherings, 50 people to 100 people indoor. It's a lot of people indoors, 250 outdoor. Arts and entertainment venues are starting to open up for venues under 10,000. We have some numbers on that. I'll make sure you get all that information, 33%. So what we're going to do, we're going to continue our pop-ups to make sure that we support the arts and culturals. We're going to support hard-hit industries, make sure we keep investing, invest in workforce development, because there's going to be a lot of people who, no fault of their own to this, lost their job, and that job may not come back. And I've seen that happen because I'm a former waitress. And in the old days, you didn't order your food unless you talked to someone and they wrote it down. I went into a restaurant not long ago, sitting outside. They handed me an iPad. My iPad is how I ordered for myself. That said to me, that's a job that's not coming back. What do we do with that person? What do we do with the person who had worked in hospitality or entertainment, restaurants, all those areas that really, truly were the hardest hit sector of our economy? We're going to get them retrained. There are jobs out there, particularly in clean energy, technology, so many fields to trades. It's not going to happen overnight, but we have to capture these people, get them into training programs, whether it's the SUNY online certificate program, whether we get them up to SUNY Oswego and get some training up there. And I think about SUNY Oswego a lot because I have a nice mug from there. So I think about them every single day when I'm drinking my tea. I know it's a fabulous institution. So we have these resources. It's about finding people, plugging them in, giving them the skills that employers want, which means we have to be engaging the employers. I've been talking about this for years. One other area before I wrap up, I know you've got a tight schedule here. Childcare. It is no longer a woman's problem. It is no longer a family's problem. It is a problem for our economy and the state of New York. So many CEOs, business leaders from Manhattan up to the North Country have told me one of the reasons they're worried about the comeback is that so many women have now been sidelined from the workplace. that they still have challenges that even existed before pandemic. Who's watching the kids? So I've been obsessed about this issue as someone who had to give up my job that I loved when my children were little kids, and I worked for Senator Moynihan because there was no child care available for me a long time ago. I don't want that to be happening to the next generation. And so it's an economic challenge. You want to make sure that families, particularly those headed by women, have access to good jobs. And we're going to be working with our business community to have a pledge that you're going to be working with people to make your workplace more business friendly. And I'm not just talking about the major corporations that should put in, I think they should put in a new wing or retrofit some of their space so they can have an on-site childcare center. What about a downtown collaborative where the businesses pool together and they all support one facility that young people and your parents can bring their kids to and not worry about them? It helps women, but also there's a lot of men who want to be around their little ones. And I think this is going to give any business who gets involved in this a competitive advantage when we start getting back to full employment and you're trying to recruit people there. So those are some of the issues I wanted to just toss your way. I know we'll continue being engaged. I will be there in person. Look forward to going out with Mayor Barlow, maybe in the golf cart again. We had a nice buzz around downtown. It was probably 10 degrees out one time. Rather be back in the summer going to Rudy's for a nice hot dog along the beautiful lake. So you have so much going for you. To my friends again at the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber and everyone at CenterState CEO, we've turned the corner. We just have to continue staying smart, get everybody vaccinated. And I believe that there is an opportunity for us to rise even higher. And I will be there with you to make sure that we all succeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor Hochul. Very much appreciate your comments, your words, your partnership in all of this. My name is Andrew Fish. I'm the Senior Vice President of Business Development at CenterState CEO. I know most of you and we've had opportunities to interact, and I'm really thrilled to have you all here today as we celebrate not only the challenges that we've overcome and the hope that we're going to continue to overcome them, but also the successes that we've seen despite all of those challenges. So I'm going to present a couple of awards today, and I'm going to start with our President's Award. Quality relationships with our colleagues are incredibly important to the work that we do. Mutual respect, kindness, and honesty are the cornerstones for a strong professional bond. Therefore, it is my pleasure to announce this year's President's Award recipient. This award is given to a member of the GOFCC Advisory Council who has provided exemplary service above and beyond what is both required or expected. We're well aware, as we've talked about already, that this year has presented us with a host of new and stressful challenges across our entire business community. As a team, we reallocated our resources to ensure that local businesses were supported. And simply put, there was no greater champion of our work through the GOFCC than Jill Abbott, owner of Uniforms, Etc. and Zamp Marketing. Jill not only utilized her membership to its fullest, but actively sought out other businesses while encouraging them to contact our support line for help. As a result, she provided our team with an opportunity to show value to new connections during these unprecedented times. Please join me in congratulating the 2021 President's Award winner, Jill Abbott, and I encourage you to share your comments in the chat. Jill, thank you so much and congratulations. The next award that I'm going to be presenting is our Community Investor Award. The Community Investor Award is given to individuals or organizations who have provided a substantial investment and commitment to the improvement of Oswego County's communities. I am honored today to announce that Oswego Health is this year's Community Investor Award winner. The health system's mission is to provide accessible, quality care and improve the health of the residents in our community. The Oswego Health System and its employees work tirelessly 7 days a week to ensure that our community members had access to testing and quality care. Additionally, the team continued to expand across Oswego County with projects like the completion of the beautiful Lakeview Center for Mental Health and Wellness. Stay tuned as we will showcase their incredible impact later in the program. But now please join me in congratulating Oswego Health and all of their frontline workers in winning the GOFCC Community Investor Award. Again, encourage you to help us celebrate them in the chat. Thank you, Oswego Health, and all that you have done in our community. It is now my pleasure to turn over the program to our outstanding Executive Director, Katie Toomey.
Thank you, Andrew. There I am. Thank you, Andrew. A little over a year ago, the GOFCC and CenterState CEO lost a member of its senior leadership team, our VP of Human Resources, Nancy Premo. In her 3 years with CenterState CEO, Nancy aspired to transform the organization's culture and put employees, her friends and colleagues, at the center of every organizational decision that was made. Nancy also served on several professional and community-related boards of directors, bringing her expertise and forward thinking to those groups. On a personal note, Nancy was a professional mentor of mine and provided sound guidance and advice. She had a very generous and giving heart, always putting others first. The GOFCC created an annual award in her memory to celebrate a woman in business whose service has made a positive impact on our community. Each year, this award recognizes a well-rounded professional who empowers and motivates other women in business, just like Nancy had. This year, I am honored to announce that Chena Tucker, the director of SUNY Oswego's Office of Business and Community Relations, is the recipient of that award. What I am most proud of is the evolution of my professional relationship with Chena. For those of you who don't know, we share an office space. We both started new positions around the same time, and it very much felt like two college freshmen were placed in the same dorm, having never met each other or worked together. For me, our relationship evolved from new roommate to trusted friend and colleague and steadfast ally. And like two co-eds, Chena and I collaborate, bounce ideas off each other, and most importantly, laugh. Chena is the first person to provide a pep talk when you are down, and she brings a fresh perspective and innovative ideas to every room she enters. And Sarah and I are very grateful to honor her today. Please join me in the chat to help celebrate Chena Tucker, this year's recipient of the Nancy Premo Woman of Distinction Award. Thank you. Congratulations to all of our winners, and please continue to congratulate them in the chat throughout the program. All right, let's get to it.
Before we get started, I just would like to thank all of our event sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Exelon Generation, business sponsors, Oswego Health, Pathfinder Bank, and INNOVATE, community sponsor, Oswego County Federal Credit Union, our video and media sponsors, Step One Creative, Cal Rhythm Productions, and iHeart Oswego, and our supporting sponsors, AmeriQ, Elemental Management Group, and SUNY Oswego. I'd also like to thank the members of the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce Advisory Council. We are so grateful for your dedication, support of our mission, and community leadership. With that being said, I think we're set to go on our exciting video.
All right, great. Thank you. And as Sarah mentioned at the top of the program, we really do appreciate you taking the time to be here today. I know Zoom anything has started to lose its shine. And so I promise we will do our best today to leave you feeling hopeful and ready to take on the new opportunities ahead. And bear with us, it's the era of Zoom, so we're doing the very best we can with some technical issues we've been having here. I'd like to take a moment to again thank Lieutenant Governor Kathy Hochul for joining us today, as well as our local officials, sponsors, members, and many volunteers. I would also like to thank our advisory council and our incoming chairperson, Alyssa Viscom, for their strategic guidance and support. We are stronger when we work as a united front, and I think that the stories shared this afternoon showcase our ability to adapt, innovate, and endure. I would also like to recognize our incredible staff for their dedication, passion, and support, including Sarah Broadwell, our events, membership, and communications teams. I couldn't do it without you. I would also like to recognize Rob Simpson, Andrew Fish for their steadfast leadership and who embody a passion for this work that is infectious. This year proved more than ever before that we are more than just a team. We are friends and we are family, and that bond is what drives the success of this mission, to create a community where businesses thrive and all people prosper. Thank you. This event marks my 4th year as the Executive Director of the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce. Over those 4 years, but most significantly during the past year, it has become increasingly clear. Partnerships matter and communities matter. While we have faced serious challenges as individuals and as a community, we have shown everyone that grit and determination are at the heart of who we are. When we were put to the test, we showed our true mettle. Now, as we begin moving toward recovery and our vision of a vibrant community, we do so knowing we have the raw materials to achieve anything we set our collective sights to. Adapt, innovate, endure. Those are the words that my mind kept coming back to as I prepared for this presentation and for our event this year. This theme perfectly summarizes the lessons I have learned over the past year, and they are the very elements that enable this community to now recover from the pandemic. Adapt. Turns out, I am more capable than I thought. It's true. Stressful, challenging situations are always better when you're surrounded by the right people. And I am, which has been necessary to remember and lean into as COVID-19 suddenly made me a work from home mom that simultaneously teaches 2 kids. Most days resemble a 3-ring circus more than a work day. But when I stop to see through the chaos, I can see how quickly I was able to adapt to these circumstances. I learned I needed to be more flexible and answer emails late at night or very early in the morning to ensure that my children received the parenting and educational support they deserve. Furthermore, when I changed my perspective not to see change as a challenge, but as an opportunity, I learned to see this extra time with my kids as a gift. Today, I have a better appreciation for how they learn, and they can wake up and see a mom that works very hard to support her family, her friends, and her community. Innovate. That brings me to lesson number 2. Working alongside innovative, creative, and passionate people makes everything better. I feel incredibly fortunate to work among and for the best and brightest people in our region. Our partnership and collaboration with CenterState CEO has been invaluable in the wake of COVID-19, allowing us to better support the Oswego County business community and work alongside our local municipalities and leaders as we navigated the early and ongoing impacts of our pandemic. As a team, we had to rethink our operational process to respond to the hundreds of calls and requests for support we received from members and community partners. We streamlined our intake to ensure that each request was connected to a staff member to serve our community efficiently. Since March of last year, we have consistently helped members to explore critical financing options, understand rapidly changing emergency regulations, and share best practices for remote work and workplace safety. Additionally, thanks to our strategic events and communications teams, we shifted our approach and we were able to develop programming tailored to navigating the various impacts of COVID-19. Okay, which brings me to our final thought. Endure. Endurance. So those of you who know me know that I've always been an athlete and was even a spinning instructor. Exercise has always been my way to blow off steam and manage stress. And suddenly, being confined to my home, surrounded by my kids and my Cocker Spaniel, made fitness a challenge. And I desperately needed an outlet, or heads were going to roll. Mercifully, I was gifted a Peloton. Now, riding requires a level of endurance that builds over time. At first, a 30-minute ride can seem like an eternity. You watch each second pass thinking, when will this end? And maybe it's the funny and often over-the-top motivational instructors, but after a while of doing these long rides, you eventually get to the point where you recognize you can do this incredibly hard thing. You come to the end of the ride and you start to believe in the corny, can-do messages that these instructors sell. Right now, as a community, we are in the middle of a really hard ride, which means two things. First, I know we can get to the end. We may have to dig a little deeper than we've had to, but we will succeed. And second, this organization will be there, just like those over-the-top instructors, to celebrate every pedal stroke, because sometimes we need that support to see the path forward and realize our true potential. I believe in our success because every day across our community, I see the real life examples of today's theme: adapt, innovate, and endure. Businesses, financial institutions, local governments, and nonprofits were all focused on the health and safety of our neighbors and the recovery of our business community. Jeff Cruz and the Novelis team rallied around our community to help find ways to support our healthcare workers while also ensuring that the plant remained operational throughout the year. Our friends and colleagues at the Richard S. Shinneman Foundation found new and innovative ways to identify the needs of nonprofits across our community and connect them to the support and services they required. And Oswego Health, a true leader during the COVID-19 pandemic. The health system and its employees worked tirelessly 7 days a week to ensure that our community members had access to testing and quality care. Additionally, the team continued to expand across Oswego County with the completion of projects like the beautiful Lakeview Center for Mental Health and Wellness. These leaders are making a difference, helping our community meet the challenges faced today, while also positioning us for a stronger tomorrow. Let's take a closer look.
Hi, I'm Jeff Cruz, plant manager of Novelis. Here at Novelis, we're very grateful of the work ethic of our employees. Those guys and gals come in every day, and when you think about where we are in COVID, if you're in manufacturing, you know there's a lot of PPE you have to put on just to get into the manufacturing shop floor. And now, in addition to that, certainly we require the mask. So, you know, our guys and gals come in every day prepared, working safely, and they do it day in and day out. Here at Novelis, we're really grateful for our employees and their families, right? And when we think of community, we can't have a business here without a community, because that is, you know, that's how we build our quality of life. We've been in the community since the 1960s, so the community is very important to us. We love partnering, and we believe partnership with community leaders is very vital. When I think of the community, I think of sustainability and quality of life. So it's not just working at Novelis and a business of Novelis, but really it's the community around us that makes everything important.
My name is Kathy Fenlon, and I am chair of the Shinneman Foundation Board of Directors. The Richard Shinneman Foundation was formed 8 years ago, and our mission is to improve the not-for-profit organizations in our community so that they can improve the quality of life for individuals and families in our area. When COVID hit, we immediately realized that our not-for-profit partners were in trouble, that nobody wrote the game book for this. And within a few days, we realized that their life, like all of our lives, were changing, and they were going to have needs that they had no way to address. I can't say we're back to doing business as usual because things are not usual. We're just entering our first grant cycle, but I expect that our not-for-profit partners will be applying for things that we haven't seen before because of the impact of COVID-19. And I'm sure that they will be creative and that Sheneman Foundation will be innovative in helping them to address the needs that they have. I think Richard Sheneman would be proud of where the foundation has come. And we have learned as we have gone on. And I look back now at all of the things that the Sheneman Foundation has done in this community, and it is huge. I'm really proud to have had the opportunity to be part of that. And I know that with the Sheneman Foundation that our work has just begun.
Hi, I'm Michael Harlovic, President and CEO of Oswego Health. People often ask me, what is the culture like of Oswego Health? I would describe it as very similar to that of a family. We have 1,200 employees, but we all seem to know one another. We know each other's names, a little bit about, something about our lives. I think what makes us different is, the people that work at our hospital, I like to refer to as the 6 degrees of separation. When you look at that, what we preach is that the people that we're caring for are someone's mother, father, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, daughter, son. So we're really caring for the residents right here, right at home. What is an employee of Oswego Health like? I would describe them as genuine individuals, people that are invested in the community because 80% of our employees live right directly in our community. I would describe them as innovative, adaptable, and I would also say that they have a can-do attitude. And especially, it became very apparent during this pandemic.
I am grateful to work alongside these dedicated leaders. These organizations represent an exciting new era for this community, and they are joined by others whose innovation and endurance is reflected in the milestones they celebrate as well. Take our friends at iHeart Oswego, who captured over 9,000 community and business events in 2020, or businesses like Elemental Management and St. Luke's Health Services, who provided quality care to elderly patients across our community. And then there's the small family-owned businesses like La Paria, Port City, the Press Box, Rivers End Bookstore, and CNY Art Center, all of whom celebrated important milestones as well. We joke that one of the most overly used words in the past year is pivot. But let's face it, we all had to evolve and shift how we live day to day, and certainly how we operated our organizations and businesses. The truth is, we have never experienced a pandemic or the need to find solutions to the variety of issues it created. Our ability to pivot and innovate and remain nimble is what enabled us to face the economic and social crisis of the past year head on. As we move forward, we must stay focused on the long game and be brave enough to take innovative risks. Across our community, there are examples of what we can look to for inspiration. Projects like La Tatro and Riverwalk, or new businesses like Southern Fare, Strigo, Paws General Store, and Zamp Marketing, all of which began or opened their doors during this crisis. Or take our friends at Broadwell Hospitality, who pressed forward and continued working on Central New York's newest 20,000 square foot indoor water park that will open on the Oswego River later this year. Our financial institutions logged long hours and worked tirelessly in 2020 to support our business community, providing funding and guidance on programs like PPP. Business community leaders like Eagle Beverage and Oswego Industries stepped up and provided critical support to ensure that our organization could deliver reopening kits to our community, while Uniforms Etc. donated hand sanitizer and masks so that we could safely host our annual farmers markets. and Vinnie Lebdell at Healthway, who donated 29 air purifiers to help regional businesses open safely. Our local officials, including Mayor Barlow and Mayor Michaels, continued to step up and work alongside nonprofits like our local YMCAs to provide childcare to essential workers and supported our chamber by helping us promote our local business community. This ecosystem of teamwork and partnership provided much needed glimmers of hope and optimism during one of our hardest years ever. This has been one heck of a long year, but there are signs that even in the wake of COVID-19, this community is on the right path. Thanks to federal stimulus, consumer spending in Oswego County was up 19% in 2020. That is more than regional peers in Onondaga County, where consumer spending was up 1.4%, and Madison County, which was down 3.4%. With additional stimulus on the horizon and expected to continue to drive consumer spending, making sure those dollars are spent locally in support of our small businesses. Also, we've heard plenty of anecdotes that people are leaving major metro areas as they look to medium-sized cities like Syracuse and more suburban and rural areas like Oswego County, as work shifts remote and families look for more space. This is an opportunity to reverse a long trend of people leaving this community for more urban areas, and we will work alongside local leaders and our colleagues at CenterState CEO to make sure we are able to attract and retain new residents. These are just two opportunities created by this pandemic, which we can use to better position our community for growth. I have no doubt that we can continue to drive progress forward because partnerships and community will continue to be the most important ingredients to that success, and we have both in spades. To further strengthen our relationships with the business community, we continue to work every day to support your business and ensure it's competitive by fostering connections to other businesses and organizations across the region and offer more comprehensive programs and services. To further strengthen our relationships, we will continue to work every day to support. As we look to the year ahead, we will continue to enhance and build upon our programs that better respond to the express needs of our members. We will host a variety of virtual training and educational sessions, networking events, and roundtables with government officials. And we will safely host outdoor programs like our Golf Social. We are listening to your feedback and finding ways to better support our small business community. The GOFCC is pleased to announce the launch of a new member incentive program brought to you by our friends at Novelis. As part of this partnership, 50 business members, 35 existing and 15 new, can apply to have 50% of their membership reimbursed. All they have to do is participate in chamber events and do business with other chamber members. Stay tuned for more information on how you can apply for this program. I'm excited to announce that Oswego County Restaurant Week, presented by Eagle Beverage and Stella Artois, will be back in late spring, and we will be unveiling a partnership that will offer a new delivery option for our restaurants. In 2020, the GOFCC repurposed the Small Business Stroll presented by Novelis to drive traffic to small businesses and restaurants during a very important holiday season. Small businesses are what make our community unique and vibrant, and so we're excited to unveil new opportunities to support them. This spring, our friends at Exelon will rally their employees and volunteers to beautify our cities, and Oswego Health will sponsor our Oswego-Fulton farmers markets. Additionally, we invite you to join us as we celebrate the businesses across our region at the CenterState CEO annual meeting on April 29th, where we will explore the theme, Commit, Progress Through Purpose-Driven Leadership. The year ahead promises new opportunities. Yes, significant challenges remain, but as you leave here, I want you to think about the story that you tell your friends and your family about this community. What will be the things you remember about this historic time? Will you think about the challenges you faced, Or will you remember how you overcame them? Will you reflect on how we came together and the examples of the humanity, generosity, and goodness that were displayed this year? Because I will remember how together we were able to adapt to our situations, how we found innovative solutions to our problems, and most important, that we are part of a community that can and will endure together. I look forward to the future and celebrating all of those successes with you. Thank you for joining us today. And at this time, I am going to hand it back over to Rob Simpson, who will be moderating our panel discussion with Oswego Mayor Billy Barlow and Fulton Mayor Dina Michaels. Thank you.
Okay, Katie, as always, you have demonstrated why we are so fortunate to have you. The team you've built, you and Sarah, the work is having a real and meaningful impact on the community. And the level of professionalism that you both bring to the job is fantastic. We're thrilled to be your teammates and your partners. So thank you for all that you do and the energy that you bring to this job, despite the challenging circumstances that we're having to do it in this year. You know, I will just say, for me, one of the bright spots of 2020, and there have been plenty of low points, but one of the bright spots has been thinking across this region, this phenomenal region that we call Central New York, that we get to serve, the way that leaders have stepped up to lead when it was required the most. And that is a difficult thing to do. It's hard enough to provide leadership in certain times where we sort of have a cycle and some predictability to what's happening. But when crisis strikes, especially a crisis as diverse and profound as the one that we faced, right? An economic crisis, a health crisis, a racial and social justice crisis. When all of these crises happen at once, true leaders emerge. And we are really grateful to have with us today two of your most inspiring and engaging leaders in Oswego County. That is Mayor Billy Barlow and Mayor Dina Michaels. I just want to thank both of you for your partnership. I know we've had a chance to work together on a lot of initiatives over the course of the last year. Without each of you, we would not be as able to do our job. And the job that you have done in your public leadership capacity has been and truly benefited Oswego County, the city of Fulton, the city of Oswego, as the Lieutenant Governor said, in so many ways. So thank you both very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Maybe why don't we start with you, Mayor Barlow? I want to give both of you a chance to just share a little bit in each of your own words, a high-level overview and update of conditions in the city of Oswego and then the city of Fulton. Where are we? What's going on? And what should people be looking forward to in 2021?
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me. It's always exciting to take the opportunity and update the small business community. And I'd like to just take a moment and thank CenterState for being such great partners, particularly Katie and Sarah here locally in Oswego and Fulton. They're always great partners, but especially through 2020 and the pandemic and working with us with all the moving parts that COVID brought to the community. I'm glad and proud to be surrounded by such great partners. And I really appreciate all the hard work CenterState does for the city and on behalf of our small business community. So obviously 2020 wasn't what we expected, but in addition to trying to keep the public informed and protecting the health and wellness of the greater public here in Oswego, our main mission was to keep progress moving forward and keep this community clicking on all cylinders despite everything that was stacked up against us. So we had a lot of DRI projects, as everybody knows. I'm pleased to report all 12 of 2016 downtown revitalization projects are almost complete or completed or at least under construction. So that's a fact that I'm really proud of. You see the Latatro building, the lights are starting to come on, it's starting to fill up. You see other commercial space downtown beginning to be occupied. So it's nice to see that energy come alive and these projects come to fruition. And then the waterfront as well. Our ready waterfront projects like Wright's Landing is almost complete, and the marina will be back open on June 1st. We're about to break ground on our $11 million international pier project. We continue to invest in Harbor Trail, Breakback Park, a new splash pad will open this spring. So there's a lot going on for sure. And I'm proud that we kept all of our projects and our momentum on track despite COVID. As it relates to COVID quickly, obviously once the pandemic arrived here in central New York, city government took quick action. We developed that take-home flyer with the takeout, to go, and pickup options for most Oswego businesses once the economic shutdown took place. We quickly made the $275,000 no interest loans available to our businesses. We launched the buy one get one campaign back in the holiday season, and we're just kicked off our second round of that, and I think that's been helpful to Oswego businesses. And then moving forward, we're working with New York State right now. The Lieutenant Governor alluded to this earlier, on getting a rapid testing site right here on West First Street. You'll see an announcement about that next week, as a way for people to get tested quickly and easily as they go out to patronize local restaurants, the movie theater, etc. And we're partnering with Wayne Drugs and offering vaccine clinics right here in Oswego. We have our first one Saturday, and we hope it goes well, and we'll continue to do that as more individuals become eligible to get the vaccine. So it's all about keeping the COVID data moving in a more favorable direction so that we can open up as the rest of the state is allowed to open up and get fully open, hopefully by summer. We'll see how that goes. I'd really like to have our summer concert series, 4th of July parade, Water Street Square concerts, and making sure that we're testing and having vaccines accessible to the public's important. So in summary, a lot of moving pieces. I'm proud we kept making progress through 2020 despite the pandemic. I thank everybody for their support and partnership, and I look forward to a productive 2021.
Well, I just say from where I sit and our team, you've done a great job. It has been challenging, but it's been fun to watch you and others step up. Mayor Michaels, you're another one. Obviously, just down the road in Fulton, many of the same challenges, some different challenges. Please give us an update on where things stand, what you're experiencing in Fulton, and what you see for the year ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob, and CenterState and the Chamber. I always look forward to this event every year. And while it may be virtual, it's still a great event to attend. And I look forward to seeing everyone in person here very soon. It's exciting for me to talk about Fulton, and it's always a great opportunity when given a platform to talk about all the successes that we're seeing. When I came into office last year, never did I expect that we'd have a pandemic to deal with just a few months in. So we hit the ground running early in 2020 with all these great ideas and great expectations for the year ahead. And frankly, the pandemic put a halt on a lot of that, and we had to shift gears and change our strategy. And we learned together. We had great partners in the community as we were trying to work through all of this. We stumbled together, we worked together. The Chamber was there, Mayor Barlow was there to help me through and navigate through these challenging times. And together we did that. With all that COVID did bring to the table, we still had successes, and I'm proud of the perseverance that the city of Fulton had, the business owners had, and the community members had to help move us forward. We had to look at Fulton not from a place where we were ready to take on a lot of new challenges, but let's evaluate where we are and what does it mean for the city of Fulton to embark on new ways of doing business. And so a lot of the year was spent doing just that. We had to evaluate how we did business, where we could do better. We had a great deal of leadership changes within the city, myself and the council and department heads. And together we had to figure out what does it mean to work together as a team moving forward, and while we have all these great opportunities, such as the DRI that we were just awarded, what does that mean for us in the future? So it was just a lot of collaboration and learning throughout 2020 and trying to navigate these choppy waters. During all of that, we spent a lot of time engaging with our small business community. They are resilient. They are an amazing group of individuals who stuck in there with us. And it was very exciting at times to see their innovative ways of doing business. It was together that we learned about how we could do better business in the future. And we talked about and learned from each other what it felt to struggle together and what it's going to take for us to come out on the other end of this successful. I've learned a lot. I've built a lot of great relationships with our business community, and I couldn't be more proud of what they did day in and day out to navigate this with us. We created a small business committee, and that was really valuable. You know, the chamber was integral in that and bringing the voices together and making sure that we were collaborating and coming up with plans together. And I think that was really important. I think as we go forward, there's a lot of value in that and making sure that the business community continues to have a voice in the process. In fact, as we look at our police reform and reinvention that we're going to be rolling out here for our April 1st deadline, a lot of the changes that we're making in the community in terms of how we police our community came from our business community and what we can do to make them and their patrons feel safer and heard and be and have a voice at the table. So, you know, we look forward to continuing to go down that path. We have a lot going on in terms of development. The Nestle's property is, we're excited about the interest on the Nestle's property. So we're working with several developers there, and we expect to see some progress in 2021. We have a new director of Fulton Community Development Agency, Brad Broadwell. He is a wealth of knowledge and experience and really is going to move us forward in terms of economic development and community development. He's got a lot of great ideas and passion, and he's from the city of Fulton. So he understands the history and respects that history, but also understands what we need as we move forward in the future. So it's a great partner, and we're happy to have him on board. In addition, we hired a new Parks and Rec director, Chris Waldron. And when it comes to quality of life and making sure that the people who live here and visit here have valuable and entertainment and things to do throughout the community, Chris is the person we want at the helm. He has so much energy and ideas, and even something as small as the snowman contest that we just rolled out and had a lot of success with, it really had impact in the community. So we want to continue to build on that and make sure that we're bringing quality events to the community in 2021. And we believe we're going to be able to do that. As this starts to lift and the pandemic starts to subside somewhat and we learn a new way of doing business, we're planning the year ahead. We're planning for development opportunities. We have DRI on the horizon. We're learning from our neighbors like Oswego on just how successful that can be. So we expect the governor to make some decisions here in 2021 on which programs and which projects will be awarded. And we're going to continue to plan for other events in the city and in hopes that we continue to see these restrictions lifted and we're able to get back to some sort of normal. So things are going great in Fulton and we are navigating this together. Couldn't be happier to be here and talk about that. And again, thank you to everyone who has been a partner through all of this. Look forward to working together as we move forward.
Well, thank you, Mayor Michaels. And to both of you, I realize we're running a little short on time, as always with these events, but I want to make sure we're respectful of those folks who joined us. I don't want to let the opportunity pass, though, without asking you at least one question. So, it strikes me, Mayor Barlow, that you have, you're just on the heels of having almost completed every project in the Oswego DRI. Could you just talk a little bit about the impact of those projects, about what you may have learned in that process that you're going to carry forward into 2021 and beyond?
Yeah, I mean, I learned that these projects take a lot of time to come to actually be constructed and happen. And I think what's important to know is that just as they took time to receive grant money, officially be awarded, and then to be built and come online, it's going to take time to actually realize that full impact. But I think the Latatro building is a great example. You're seeing the apartments begin to fill up. You see that commercial space occupied with a vibrant, unique restaurant. And that's the sort of energy and activity that our entire DRI concept was built to create. And you're only going to see more of that when the Riverwalk project is complete. There's commercial space and plans for that space already, and that'll bring some more energy to that side of 104. I was really disappointed with the pandemic, obviously canceling events, but our Pocket Park and the improvements to Water Street will start to have concerts there again, and down on the Riverwalk at the Veteran Stage. And I think you'll begin to see between the farmers market and those concerts, the energy and the results of all of this development and economic activity start to take place once more people begin to come downtown and have reasons to visit downtown again. So I'm excited to see it all happen. And lastly, I'll say that we're already seeing the spillover effect. We mentioned Jill Abbott and Zamp's earlier, Southern Fair and Latatro, Organic Earthling up by 104. These are all projects that, without speaking for the business owners, I think the 2016 DRI caught their attention and made them interested in downtown and made them interested in investing in downtown and place their business here. So the spillover effect is going to be something to look for, but I think you'll see the energy really start to happen as these other mixed use developments come online and bring more people not only visiting downtown, but living right here in our core downtown area.
Mayor, I think that's a great point. We've certainly seen throughout Central New York with now multiple rounds of DRI, we've seen that spillover effect, right? It's not just the projects you have in the pipeline, it's the ones that someone thinks of because they see their neighbor investing in their building, or they're starting to think about their community in a different light. Mayor Michaels, you're more on the front end of this than the tail end. Tell us, briefly, maybe one or two things that you're most looking forward to in the next year that are going to result from the DRI, and maybe what you need from us, from the chamber, from the business community, as a partner in making Fulton a better place to live.
Thank you. What we hope to see is the success that Oswego's seeing. We see what DRI has done to a community, and we know we can see that same success here in Fulton. And when two communities, neighboring communities, have the success of DRI, that's going to have significant impact in and around our region. So we want to be able to reap those rewards and see those successes. But you're right, we're at the beginning phases. And our partners at the state level have been wonderful to work with. We haven't delayed any of our conversations, but the reality is we haven't had our projects awarded yet. So we don't know what projects are going to be moving forward. So we have to continue to plan and work around that and wait until we do hear what projects are awarded. But that doesn't mean we're stopping there. We're seeing too that there's interest. So while we're at the beginning of this, we're seeing interest from businesses that are coming forward saying, we want to be a part of what we expect to be coming to Fulton. So those development opportunities or expansions, ENV Energy is looking to expand their footprint here in Fulton, and they're getting in at the beginning phases of all of this because I think they can see what's about to happen. Or we have a doggy daycare that's coming into town, and we're excited about that and the partnerships that they're going to have with veterinary clinics here in the city. Our planning board is really busy with a slate of businesses that are coming forth saying, we're interested in doing business in Fulton. We want to do something different. So we're excited about that. We're keeping Brad Broadwell busy and making sure that, we're being attentive to our small business community that is here, doing tours at Davis Standard or Hutamaki and understanding what their needs are and what this development will mean to them when DRI comes to town, and what will it mean to our small business community by making it a more pedestrian friendly, community. Will that help to get people in their doors? So we're doing a lot to get prepared for the DRI announcement on what projects will be announced. There's a lot of work to do, and we need to continue to work with our partners such as CenterState to understand you've been there, you've worked through these projects, you've you've seen it firsthand, and we need to learn from that and make sure that we're ready for what we expect, the success we expect from DRI.
It's coming. As much as we have persistent economic challenges as a result of the pandemic, I am comforted, a small comfort, but I am comforted in the fact that this economic crisis that we are in is not a traditional economic crisis. It's a economic crisis driven by a healthcare crisis. And as the healthcare crisis begins to subside, we're so far from there, but we're moving in the right direction. I fully believe the economy is going to return. We're already seeing the investment pipeline fill up. Businesses are starting to think again about the future after the pandemic and how they can plan and prepare for that. Just know that we at CenterState, the Greater Oswego-Fulton Chamber of Commerce, we are here to be your partners. Our goals and aspirations are the same as yours, to see this business community thrive and to see the people in our region prosper. Thank you both so much for joining us. Thank you for your leadership, and we look forward to working with you in the year ahead. I will stop there and turn the program back over to Katie Toomey. Katie, take us home.
Away we go. Am I visible? I hope so. We live in this weird Zoom universe, and we had a quick technical difficulty earlier, but we do need to thank all of our sponsors, our presenting sponsor, Exelon Generation, Oswego Health, Pathfinder Bank, Novelis, Oswego County Federal Credit Union, Step One, Kyle Redland Productions, iHeart Oswego, AmeriQ, Elemental Management Group, and SUNY Oswego. There is much work to do this year as we look forward, or as we look ahead, and I really look forward to working with each and every one of you who joined us. So thank you so much again for joining us today, and have a wonderful year. Thank you.